Yo, what's up, fam? Welcome back to Down the Barrel. Scorp here, your Wisconsin State webmaster. Glad you guys joined us for the last episode. It was great to get that out and see everybody's responses to that. So we're glad to be back for episode two. Whether you're rolling down the highway or kicking back at home, we appreciate you joining us and listening in, whatever you got to do. So with me as always, these people need no introduction. Go ahead, Theo.
It helps if you hit the right button, right? Hey, Hollywood here, Theo Williams, state rep. Yeah, like Scorp said, glad to keep these conversations going. It's the second episode, trying to just get out there and talk to the membership and talk about what's going on in our wonderful state. So,
And as always, we got Jake with us.
Jacob Sandspider Spangenberg, your state secretary. I'm glad we're here and look forward to having a little discussion here. Let's get into it.
Cool. And then joining us tonight, we got a special guest. We're going to bring in Loki. He's our state public relations officer. What's up, Loki?
I'm just happy to be here and get the word out about CVMA and what we do.
Cool, man. We're glad to have you here tonight. Have some fun and join in on these fun conversations that we have. Theo, what do you got from around the state, man?
so as usual around the state, if anything from chapter rides, individual chapter rides, fundraisers, here's what's going on in Wisconsin. Starting off on July 19th, which is coming up this weekend, is our Milwaukee chapter, 45-1. They have their poker chip run, leaving out at Be Lazy Bar and Grill. And then on the 26th, the chapter up in the Manitowoc area has their annual River Rat Run, leaving out of Harbortown Harley Davidson. And then kind of going into the beginning of August, we've got our Preacher's Fall Ride. Preacher is our state chaplain. He does a fall ride every year. It's a very good ride. And then our newest chapter, out of the Janesville area, has a Forever in Battle PTSD awareness ride, August 2nd. Our Madison chapter has their Till Valhalla ride, August 9th. And then every year we pay respects to our fallen brothers and sisters with a state memorial stone ride up in Neillsville at the High Grounds Memorial Park, August 16th. So those are kind of what's going on in CVMA in the next month. Throughout that, each individual chapter actually has some of their chapter meetings. If you want to stay up to date on those and see what's going on with those, you can visit our website, our event page on our website, cvmawi.org. There's an events icon. Click it. You'll see all of our events that are going on.
And for anybody who hasn't been to the state memorial ride, for all you new members out there, man, the state ride at the high ground is definitely something to not be missed. That place is so special. The stone laying is very emotional to some of us. And then definitely, if you get the chance to be at the high ground at night, when all the lights are on and it's super tranquil, I mean, I would definitely check it out. I mean, Hollywood and Jake and Loki, I know you guys have all been there at night.
But yeah,
What are your guys' thoughts on just that whole event for the members that have never been it before?
it's kind of an awe-inspiring location. I mean, you get to sit there, you get to take in, memorials for all eras. There's a memorial for Native American soldiers. There's a memorial for female soldiers, for dogs in battle. It just covers everything, and it's one of those things that kind of tugs at your heartstrings.
I've been to DC, to the National Mall, a few times, and I like to think of the High Ground Memorial Park as our own little version of the National Mall, because there are so many monuments in that campus. Like Loki said, it's basically, it has a memorial for every conflict, and then it pays homage to some of the nationalities and individual, like the War Dog. There's a War Dog memorial, American Indian memorial there. So it's really hallowed ground, similar to a National Mall in DC or an Arlington Park. It's of that caliber. It moves me every time I'm there, and at night is a whole nother level.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know for me, like being when you're up in the diamond, right up on the top, and you're looking down at the gold star when they have it all lit up at night. That's super touching. But I think the most
Yeah.
my favorite memorial that they have there is the soldier from World War II wearing the poncho, and he's got the dog tags in his hand, and he's holding it over his heart, and then he's reaching out, touching like a modern era helmet with the on top of the rifle. To me, that's like the most touching memorial. I don't know why. It just speaks volumes to me. Like, it doesn't matter what era you came from in the military. We're all brothers and sisters. We all feel that loss when somebody dies. What's your favorite up there?
Mine is the memorial off to the left, the Desert Wars Memorial, obviously, because it kind of hits home for all of us. And I actually left one of my brother's metal wristbands on one of the statues there, and it's actually stayed there ever since. So,
Well, and it touches more for you because your brother's stone is there too, isn't it?
absolutely, and that's where we, for our 45-3 ride, where we place stones as well as down in that area. So,
What about you, Theo? What's your favorite memorial up there?
Even the kind of like Jake said, like, so we're all of the Middle Eastern conflicts memorial that's there. So yes, that has a special place for me. But actually, one of my favorite ones is actually the War Dog, because I feel like even though they've been around longer than our era conflicts, I've known a few where they have saved people's lives that I know that were there. So I think that's probably my favorite, just because it pays homage to those dogs that are working. I'm a dog person, so already um, it just holds a special place.
Yeah, and at
It's
night,
right there. It's right there, front and center, right
yeah, and
next
at
to the
night when
bell.
it's all lit up,
Yeah,
and the dude's on his knee, and the dog looks like he's ready to go into attack mode. Man,
exactly.
that memorial
Yeah.
gives you goosebumps, dude.
Yeah, yeah. No
What about
doubt.
you, Loki? What's your favorite up there?
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree with you, Scorp. That statue just it tugs at me in such a, I don't know, profound way. I could sit there and look at it, and then looking at all the stones. That just it gives you chills just seeing all your brothers. I think we've all laid brothers down there, and that's probably the most emotional part for me. Everything is amazing, but just looking at the stones and placing a few coins on the stones is the part that touches me the most.
Yeah, for sure. And then definitely having like our own area up there now, which is amazing. I mean, that's one of the best things I think we've decided as a state to do is to have our memorial there instead of up in Door County where we started doing it. I think this place is just more meaningful to veterans and to us. I don't know.
Fits us better.
Yeah, Bonnie and Chris, the curators of the high grounds, they really came through with a partnership with us and giving us that place like right up front and center, for us um, to lay respect for our fellow brothers and sisters. I actually started writing it today. I'm actually writing a policy that's where our memorial stones will be, is there, just so that's documented and whatnot, so we can continue that on.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so I guess moving into nationals, big nationals this year, lots of changes. Uh, lots of crazy stuff happened there too, and I think this was one of the most eventful as far as motorcycle accidents going into nationals that I've ever seen. I
Yeah.
mean, it felt like every day the feed was live with another bike went down, another bike went down on the way there. I can't even tell you how many times that happened. But as far as nationals itself, big things came out. We had change of command, new president, new secretary, and then new ABOD secretary. And I think ABOD had a new commander too, right? Or no?
No, just
No, just
secretary.
ABOD secretary.
Yep.
Okay. Theo, you want to go over who those new people are?
So yep. So our national president now is Boomer. I believe he's out of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Lefty is our national secretary, and the new ABOT secretary is Cupcake out of Texas as well. So looking forward to seeing their spin on leadership of CVMA. I know that in the last, even with the last elected offices, there's a shift more on focusing on our brotherhood, our membership, doing what's right by us, and I feel like it's a step in the right direction. Maybe I'm a little naive, but I think I'm excited to see where this association goes with this leadership. It's trying to put a little bit more common sense, not knocking anything that's happened in the past, but just a little bit more common sense um, to how we do things and how we operate. So that's my
Yeah,
take.
sometimes you got to wait to see how the shit rolls downhill, you know?
Right,
But
right, exactly. So I'm
yeah, but
hopeful.
so,
I'm
so far
hopeful,
he's
but
so far Boomer's been doing those videos on the all members page on Facebook, and at least I feel like that's a way to, instead of him just being a figurehead at the top of this organization, you actually get to see the human behind it,
you know,
Yeah, very personal.
yeah, and that's something that I actually like that piece. Is like it's not like you said like this. Who's the man behind the? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain type thing, right?
Yeah, right.
You can actually put a face to. Oh yeah, I know that guy. So that's kind of I've kind of modeled my position now as I don't want to just be that guy that's behind the computer sending emails out and whatnot. Like you have to get out, hear what's going on, hear people's concerns. Some of it you may not be able to fix all of it, but at least you can try it and mitigate some of it and come up with some type of solution.
For sure.
I think that's a big piece. And as us as leaders and those that want to be leaders, you have to listen on both sides and try and make that medium ground. So I'm
And I
hopeful
think
that
it
they do
started.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it started something too, because it started with Spooky doing his little videos, and then Boomer started doing his. But now we're also getting the region reps
Diggity. Yeah.
doing them too. So like Diggity put out his message to the membership the other day. I think that's a really great thing to actually start hearing from the leaders and speaking to us as members instead of, like you said, being the man behind the curtain. I think it's a really good thing.
Agreed.
From a secretary's perspective, I'm just interested to see how things will work with applications and things like that. So with the new national secretary, I guess we'll just see as well.
Yeah, for sure. I know there's been pain points in the past. Again, not to knock anybody who's held a position. I can't even imagine the amount of weight on your shoulders being in a position like that. But hopefully changes for the better coming up. So Jake, I know we had some new bylaws come down, or at least changes to the bylaws. Is there anything you wanted to go cover there?
Yeah, let's get into it a little bit. There are some 5 bylaws that were up for voting by the membership at our chapter meetings, and they shared the results during nationals, so I kind of want to share that with you a little bit here. Bylaw change proposal number 1 was on intellectual property. It basically provides more of a detailed explanation and clarification on CVMA intellectual property or IP. That one did pass. There's also one on good standing, bylaw change proposal 2. It will allow other lesser levels of discipline for minor infractions, and the member may be allowed to remain in good standing if a lesser disciplinary level is imposed. So that also means that I know the National Sergeant at Arms and then the National Board is kind of looking at what that would look like, but that one did pass as well. The third one that passed was a medically exempt life members. Basically, it has the same standard as non-life members, so medically exempt non-life members. Basically, they're not able to hold a officer position while medically exempt, so it's going to be the same as your regular non-life medically exempt members. The 2 bylaw change proposals that did not pass were an Auxin support chapter assignment. Currently, the auxiliary members are automatically assigned to the same chapter as their spouse. However, currently a support member's initial assignment is the same as a full member, so the closest chapter in their state. So you can have somebody from one chapter sponsor somebody who goes to a different chapter. The bylaw change proposal said that they needed to be in the same chapter. That one did not pass by a very slim margin. So basically, support members are still assigned to their closest chapter in the state. And then the last one that did not pass was moving the national meeting to 2 locations in the Midwest and the Middle East, or Mid-East of the country, I should say. That one, no. That one also did not pass. So we're going to continue to see more of this great country that we have here, and I'm looking forward to being able to go different places and see different sites.
Yeah, I'm really glad that one didn't go through, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So on that note, so looking ahead for nationals, what that means for us, next year we're locked into Syracuse, New York in 2026. 2027 will be in Kansas City, and then 2028 will be in Washington State. So really kind of, crisscrossing the nation, if you will, and I love it. So I'm not sure if I'll make it to all of those, but I will damn sure try. I know that I'm locked in for Syracuse and Kansas City. It's the Washington State one. That one's
That'll be a haul, bro.
Yeah, that's a haul. So definitely got to plan accordingly for that one. All right.
I'm looking forward to going up through Canada over to Niagara Falls and down to Syracuse. That's my plan for next year. I think that'll be great.
You're gonna go up over.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was just talking to another member. I was like, yeah, I think this or Syracuse year, I'm gonna leave Saturday and take like 3 days to get there, just to ping pong around. Like, oh well, let's just stop here and see what's around here, type thing. Instead of the mad rush to get there, and then we're there in the area for 2-3 days. We're just gonna see, because that's a side of the country I've never been outside of airports.
Right. Yeah, that'll be a good trip. I know me and Jake are planning to go up the northern route.
Nice.
Looking forward to doing that. Well, the only problem is we're going to have to figure out how to smuggle our guns into Canada,
Yeah.
Maybe we'll send our guns with one of you guys that are going the south route, and then we'll pick them up from you from there.
Right.
There's always the old prison wallet.
Well, I mean,
That's gonna feel really weird on
somebody else though, and they get pulled over with like 30 gats on the highway, and the cops like, "Why do you need 30 guns in your saddlebag?"
Because you never know.
Because one's never enough.
Right. My grandfather told me better to be over prepared than not prepared enough.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, I think this kind of brings us back around to the safety discussion of going to nationals and riding solo versus riding with the crew or riding with your other chapter members. I personally can't say that I recommend doing the finish the mission alone.
No.
I mean, I know there's plenty of members that feel comfortable and they've been riding long enough on motorcycles, they feel like they can ride alone. I just don't feel like that on Iron Butt, or, I mean, especially finish the mission going to nationals, is something any of our members should be doing alone. You're more than welcome to. We can't say don't do it. But it's when you get into those situations, like we had a member go down in Illinois, and he was trying to finish the mission alone, and then he ends up in the hospital, and we don't find out about it immediately. It takes a while for that news to trickle down to the state. But yeah, I just don't think you should do it alone, personally. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh, I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I know that even in our chapter, we've had a member who's tried to do it on their own, and yeah, if something happens, especially some people like to do their finish the mission or their Iron Butt at night and start at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You might be sitting in a ditch for hours before anybody even finds you. So there's always that safety issue. And when we did ours to Colorado Springs Corp, we not only did we ride together, but we had 2 trail vehicles. And so I think even if you're going to do it and somebody doesn't want to necessarily ride to do it, having even a trail vehicle, some kind of car behind you, at least you have that buddy system going on there.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't recommend it, If, obviously, like you said, Scorp, like we can't force anybody not to do it, right? I would just say, take the necessary precautions, well rested, well hydrated, if,
Helmet, full
there's,
gear.
yeah, there's applications out there, if you have a friend, not necessarily in CVMA, hook up with Life 360. I know a lot of chapters use them. That way, if anything does happen, somebody will get an alert and be able to action it. They'll know exactly where you are. You know, heaven forbid, but I would just say, be careful. Make sure you're prepared for it. I'll say prepare for it as much as you can, especially if you've never attempted something like that. If you've never gone that type of distance. I myself, I'm a 500-600 mile day rider. I have done longer. Like I've done an iron butt back home from El Paso without knowing that's what I was doing. you know, that's I linked up with some people and they just rode till we couldn't ride anymore, and it was 11 hours later. But so just definitely take the necessary precautions if you are going to do it alone.
I mean, and there's all those things that go into it too. It's like making sure your bike is in peak mechanical condition before you go, and then not just the bike, but your body too. Like, I mean, before you hydrate days before, make sure that you got plenty of rest the night before. I mean, I can't even tell you. I think when we went all the way out to Colorado Springs, I think we were all in bed by like 8 p.m. that night, and then up bright and early the next morning to hit the road running. So, I mean, just make sure you take care of yourself and your machine, because the machine's got to get you there, and then your body's got to ride the machine. So, if you're going to do it alone, don't recommend it. But if you got to do it alone, wear all the gear all the time. Don't be trying to make a freaking iron butt in flip flops and shorts. I mean, that can't say you can't do it,
Right.
but
it's not advisable. It's not advisable.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know that like in 70% of motorcycle accidents, people lose their feet?
I believe it. They put their foot down.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up. That's exactly what I did when I broke my leg and messed up my ankle. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Sorry.
At least your whole leg didn't pop off.
True,
I mean, technically it did.
But Nicole said it was like this, just kind of dangling there. So, yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yikes.
Brutal, dude. So why do you guys, I mean, I know we say it all the time, ride in a group is always safer than riding alone, but for our new members especially, like, and it's, I guess one thing I don't think about, and probably most people don't think about, is when you have new members riding in a group, you don't know their riding ability, right? And when you're riding in a group, you always have to ride at the ability of the lowest riders level in your group. So, I mean, is that, and I know Taz does a great job as our road captain, harping on that stuff and his booklet that he put out. But I think that's something we really should address with our membership is like, hey, when you're going on a group ride, even if it's like 3 or 4 of you, you should always make sure you're riding at that lowest rider's level. I mean, don't go out there and haul ass like an idiot. Not saying you can't do that. Just saying you probably shouldn't. I mean, I'd hate for one of our guys to go down because they're a new rider. I mean, and most of these guys, this is their first bike coming into the CVMA. I mean, I know a lot of us are pretty seasoned riders, but it's shocking to me how much new riders we're getting in the organization.
And riding with a group like that, sometimes it's hard to remember what it was like being a new rider and riding to their ability. So even just having a conversation with those newer members or those newer riders and just say, hey, I get it. If we're going too fast or taking corners too fast, just back off. It's okay. You can slow down.
Right.
And we'll notice in our rear view that you're back behind us, and we'll slow down so you can catch up. Do not, and I can't say this enough, do not try to push your ability when you're a new rider.
Right.
There's the whole thing of people say, ride your ride. It's not just a slogan. It should be ride your bike the way that you feel comfortable riding it. If that means you have to slow down in a curve, slow down on that curve. I'd rather you slow down on a curve and leave a big gap then you take a corner too fast and you're off in a ditch.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's right to your ability, not to the ability of others with you.
I mean, and then you really, once you've rode in with that group for a while, you know, I mean, I know Theo, you and me have ridden together a couple times. Jake, we ride a lot together. I mean, once you're in those groups and you have that dynamic in the group, then everybody just knows what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, and it's always good to ride in a group because you've got the six of the guy in front of you. The guy in, he's got the six of the guy in front of him. It makes it easier to anticipate hazards and things that are going on. And with our riding style staggered, and the precautions that we follow, it's just much safer to roll together than it is to roll alone.
Especially at night, one set of headlights is different than two set of headlights for oncoming cars as well. So,
On occasion, if I'm out and about and I'm just riding by myself and I'll see another bike like in the distance or whatever, I'll catch up to that person and then we'll ride together because we're both safer if we're together. Doesn't matter if we know each other or not, but we're both safer. I think that's important. A lot of times it's like, well, I'm just riding. I'm paying attention to myself. We're all out there. We're all the same level of defenselessness on the road, right? So why not take care of fellow riders? But yeah, knowing who you're riding with, having that conversation beforehand, and paying attention to everyone's riding style, I think is key for everyone's safety. What happens if this guy's trying to keep up with you too fast? You guys know you're going to brake, but he doesn't necessarily know, and then bam, he slams into the back of whoever. So yeah, definitely something.
It's also
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say it's also nice to get out and ride with different chapters because each chapter kind of has their own thing and they kind of ride. I mean, we all ride with the same basic rules, but we all kind of ride different too. So it's nice to get out with other chapters and ride with them for a day. And that's why I think everyone should try to make as many of the other chapter rides as possible.
Yeah, and that was the whole premise behind having our state calendar, so everybody could see when people are doing their rides. Yeah, if you're trying to go, for our long range riding platoon, if you're trying to go for that, you can kind of see and plot it out and plan it out. But ultimately, get out and see the other chapters in the state, in the region, in the nation. I love the fact that you'll see a message come across Facebook or something like, "Hey, I'm rolling through whatever town. I'm in this town for however many days," and all of a sudden people just kind of latch on. Well, let's get lunch, let's get dinner, or whatever. So that's wonderful. This past weekend we had the homecoming. And I can't remember who somebody put out on our national page. Is there a meet and greet? And we really kind of missed the ball on that one. So
I missed the ball on that one.
collective. It's a collective. It's a collective thing. Luckily, it was bike night, and a lot of people went down at bike night. Saw a lot of people at bike night, so we kind of used that. Next year, when it does, we'll be more prepared, and we'll be able to put something together. Whether it be on the museum grounds or in some restaurant in the area. So I think that's a good idea, just to get out and mingle with brothers and sisters. That's
absolutely.
That's kind of, and when I spoke earlier about how the attitude is kind of shifting on how we take care of each other, it's more of that. Let's get out together. Let's ride together. Let's meet together. Let's start doing things together. That's why a lot of us joined CVMA, is to get that brotherhood. But then we got into, obviously a certain level of fundraising is what we do for other veteran charities. But the other piece is to take care of our brothers and sisters that are our members, right? So I can't.
No, I think that'd be pretty cool for next year if we had some, like the canopies that have the chapter logos on them. Just get like 245, just Wisconsin state canopies, and have them set up where we all just meet up down there and to have a meet and greet for members coming out of state. I think that'd be cool.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
And so with coming out of this year's homecoming, I actually met the lady that does a lot of their marketing for them. So this year, Harley Davidson is doing that Let's Ride challenge, where you log your miles and the miles count up, and they'll donate a large amount of money to several different veteran organizations, CVMA being one of them. That's something that Mason had worked on. So this year, at their opening ceremony, they kind of had all the organizations up on stage, just to kind of show, like, these are the veterans that you guys are helping. These are the veteran organizations that everyone is helping by just logging miles, riding. We buy these motorcycles to ride them, not for them to necessarily sit in the garage, right? So I think next year we can definitely do something big. Either next year do something big, or even throughout the year. Obviously they have their bike nights every Thursday, so I'd like to see one night where it's sponsored by us or something.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
I'm on it.
And I think that kind of brings us into something a little closer to heart, about brother and sisterhood, and those meet and greets, and getting to know the other, members from around the U.S. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things about being in the CVMA. Not only do you run into members that you've served with that you didn't even know were part of the CVMA, which is super cool, but like knowing that, hey, my battle buddy from Fort Campbell lives down in Texas now, and I know he's going to be at the next nationals, and that's that chance to get up and meet with him. Or if they come to another state's event, man, it's so cool. But that brings us to like that accountability of each other, and I know Diggity hit on it hard about making sure our members are okay, and that we know where our members are, and checking those rosters, and reaching out to those members we haven't heard from in a while. So I think that we as a chapter need to do better. Like Diggity said, we need to do better as an organization, as a state level, at the region level, just top to bottom. We need to do better making sure we have each other's six. So I mean, it's hard. Okay, like I get it. We all have lives. We're all busy, but how do we push for that accountability and making sure that we have each other's six more? Like, I mean, as NCOs, you did welfare checks on your soldiers, right? You went to the barracks,
Right.
You checked on them, but it's different when some of our chapters are pretty large. They span hours. So how do you do that as an organization?
I mean, the one, my take is you have to develop some type of system, right? You have to some type of mentor program or buddy check program, something, battle buddies system within your chapter, state, region. You have to, and really I'll say chapter because it has to start at the chapter, right? You have to get the framework for that. I know us as a Wisconsin, our past X1 Above meeting, I think last month, I think we had talked about this exact thing, like mentoring either new members or checking up on those that we haven't seen forever.
Yep.
It shouldn't be the only time we contact them is in June every month because they're coming up on needing to pay their dues. Like, we should already know what's going on with that individual before June, because we should be staying in contact. It could be life happens and they have a job change or some life change that has pulled them more into their life rather than CVMA life. That's fine. We all get it. We've all been there. But just having that open line of communication and taking care of each other, I think, is key. So I know that us as a state and the chapter leadership, that's one of our main tasks that we're going to work on. And that I do know from one of the meetings at nationals, it's something that's recognized at the national level as well, is some type of mentorship
Yep.
program.
And I think at least for now, I know that 45.3 is generally large. I mean, we go all the way up to like Marinette area and then all the way down to like Fond du Lac, sort of, kind of, somewhere in that area. And I know that a lot of times it's people who live in a general area, they're kind of in a group, which I think is awesome. So if you can like establish certain groups in different geographical areas, I know the people in the Marinette Peshtigo area, they're kind of chatting and talking with each other all the time. So I think sometimes it's difficult from a size perspective to be able to reach out both numbers of members and then also um, geographical distance. But if we can establish certain like groups that are in a certain area that can kind of continue to check up on each other, I think that would be helpful too.
Yeah, and I know not everybody's on Facebook, and I know a lot of communication goes out on Facebook, which I know we've been trying to do better as an organization from a state level. We've been trying to do better at that. You know, making sure things go out by email, people get contacted by phone and text, and then you know obviously there's the Facebook methods. But like when you're in those groups, like you were saying, Jake, in those geographical areas, I mean, we all have a phone. I mean, I don't know a single member who doesn't have a cell phone. You know, there should always like, and I take that on me too. I should probably do better at it. Is making sure I set up a text group with those guys that are local to me. You know, within 20 minutes of me, and making sure we have that chat group and just do those buddy checks. I mean, I would hate to find out that one of our members died like a year ago because we haven't seen them.
Right.
And
Right. I can't
and then
imagine
you
that.
have that feeling of responsibility on you, like, man, what could I have done different?
Right.
And instead of waiting till we get to that point, maybe now is the time to make that change. You know, I mean, and that's the other thing is like, you know, make sure I know in the military you deal with all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds. You know, and everybody's got their own thing they're into. But one thing that was really beautiful, even being downrange, was we all wore green, right? Green was the color we respected, and no matter what happened, you were going to be there for your brother when you were downrange. So,
Yep.
but you know, back CONUS, when you were stateside, you might have hated the shit out of somebody in the military, but you still respected them for who they were. You know, man, I know sometimes you go out behind the barracks and beat the shit out of each other, whatever you had to do to get those traumas
Right.
out.
Like, we
But
were
sometimes
handling
after that, you guys became like the best of friends. Like I know there was guys that I just absolutely couldn't stand in the military, but now I have a pretty good relationship with them
Right.
because you know, first of all, when you're 19, you got all that adrenaline running through your dick and shit, and you're just a hard ass. No matter what you're doing, you know.
Right. Right.
I'm just saying,
Oh,
but
facts. You're not
it,
wrong. I know.
it's
Last
different
year
when you grow up.
it is last year I had my 30th reunion of my unit I went to Somalia with, and there are a few people I was like, dude, I used to hate you. Now we're sitting there at the bar having drinks, right? Kicking back like we were old high school buddies, right? Like,
Yeah.
right? Like it's crazy.
And it's surprising the things that you'll find that you'll connect on with
Yeah.
somebody that you thought you hated them, like you just couldn't stand them, and then you have that one conversation with them, and now like you're best friends because you've connected on a deeper level with something that meant the same thing to both of you. But you know, respect in the organization is something I think that I don't know. I think we do a pretty good job of it. I know a lot of chapters do probably a good job at it, but it's like the clickiness and like making sure people shouldn't feel like outcasts at any point, you know, even if they haven't shown up for a while.
True. That's
Yeah.
a fact.
I think sometimes that gets to be a little difficult. I mean, it's definitely possible. I just think it gets difficult because you tend to build those relationships with the people that you see all the time, right? That
Yeah.
whole consistency thing. And if you don't see somebody a whole lot, it's kind of hard to walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, you know, I'm Sand Spider. I haven't seen you in 2 years. I don't even know if you remember me, you know." But it's about making those attempts to at least say, "Hey, how's it going?" when you do see them.
Yeah.
I mean, even I mean, I for no reason, I mean, other than you know, especially if you're a chapter officer or a state officer, and you're at an event and you see a new face you haven't seen before or haven't seen in a long time, you know, I mean, it happens all the time to us in our chapter. We'll be in the meeting, there'll be a new face, but hey, they've been a member for who knows how long. They just haven't shown up in a while. You know, and like I said, I'm not excusing my behavior from not doing this, but I need to be better too at going up to those people and saying, "Hey, what's up, brother? You know, I'm Scorp. Nice to meet you. You know, I haven't seen you here before." And then having that, you know, that's how you establish that foot ground with them and getting to know them.
Be welcoming and opening, you know, right? Like, yeah, definitely.
I
And
know.
that goes-
I know
that
when
goes-
I first joined the CVMA, I went to a ride up north, and I didn't have my patch sewn on my vest yet, so nobody knew I was a member, because I think my vest was in the shop getting sewn on, and then they were not welcoming at all.
And I think
You
that
know,
goes
it's
back
sad.
to that whole the back on the patch on your back. Honestly, the officer shit. When push comes to shove, I'm going to do my job, but it means not nearly as much as that patch in the back. And if you got the patch in your back too, I mean, I see you as my equal. We're not better or worse than anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you
100%.
could meet
Right.
if you're wearing like a t-shirt or a hoodie, you could be almost anywhere and people will come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, I'm with the CVMA." So it's always
Yeah.
nice to meet people on the road, you know.
Oh yeah. You know, it's not only
I think we lost
do you see
Theo.
those that say, "Hey, I'm in."
Ah, what a bum!
The show must go on. Oh, he's coming back on.
It said his recording stopped for him, anyways. Yeah, it's all right. We'll keep going here until he joins back. Hopefully, nothing bad happened to him. He didn't have a "I kill you" thing go on. Somebody wasn't bringing their kid to work day, and there was pieces of him all over the place.
This is where you put in the Sasquatch in place of Theo since he's not here.
Yo, what's up, fam? I just met these two big chicks. I just ate the bad mushrooms.
Note for a future podcast.
For sure. All right, so let's have some fun here. You know, and I'm glad you're here tonight, Loki, because we have very different tastes in motorcycles, I think, and that's okay. I'm not saying anybody's tastes are
I
wrong
like all
or bad.
motorcycles.
All motorcycles, right? But you know what's the best accessory you've ever put on your bike, and then like what's the dumbest thing you've ever wasted money on? Jake, I have one for you for sure. I already know one that's for you, but what's the best accessory you ever put on your bike?
Jake, you go first, or you want me to go first?
You go first. Why don't you go first? Because I think Scorp is trying to build up to
Honestly,
this.
you'll laugh at me, but the cup holder is the best thing, and the worst thing was the get back whip.
Why was the get back whip the worst thing?
Because we were going through. I was going through the Rockies. I did that Route 66 ride.
Yeah.
And we were coming back through the Rockies, and my throttle cable broke, or the my clutch cable broke, and I'm pretty convinced that thing flailing in the wind at 80 miles an hour is what messed up my cable. So I don't put it on my bike anymore. Especially I was at like 8,900 feet. The closest town was, you know what I mean? I had to ride 45 minutes into Colorado Springs from 8,000 something feet, get a U-Haul, get a trailer, go all the way back, load up my bike. It was, yeah. So I will never put a get back whip on my bike again.
What about you, Jake? What's the best thing?
The best thing, absolutely hands down, is my seat. Those stock seats suck. I don't care what bike you get, the stock seats always suck. So yeah, that saved my ass, especially doing the Iron Butt to Colorado Springs is probably my favorite. That and the LED lights really helps a lot with being able to be seen and being able to see. So I think those are probably my best.
I do have a pop-out cigarette lighter in mine too, like the old school ones. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, just light up right in the middle of the road.
I could just ride. I could light a cigar while I'm moving.
Yeah, I thought you drop it on your fucking self.
Okay, what's my worst there, Scarp?
Your worst thing? You know those CVMA medallions, those stickers that you can buy, like the metal ones. and you put that thing on your gas cap, dude. It looked dumb as shit. I understood what you were going for, but man, did that look fucking dumb on there.
Yeah, that was terrible. I thought, I'll try this, see if it works. I had a huge dent in my gas cap, so I'm like, oh, that'll look cool. Yeah, no,
It definitely covered the dent. The dent looked better without the thing on it.
Yeah, the dent looked better than the actual sticker I put on there.
Well, I know, Jake, you got that that sound system from who was that from?
Kirkin, I think, is the name of it.
Yeah, Kirkin, right.
And that actually helps with like having a Road King. I don't have those fairings. I don't have a radio or anything. And I did a lot of research on it and found that was the one that people could actually hear at highway speeds. And I can absolutely hear it.
Thunder Road one, right?
Right. Now it's not cheap.
Kuryakin.
Yeah, that's it. It's like $400 to $500, so it definitely was not cheap, but totally worth it because I can go down 75, 80 miles an hour on a highway and still hear my music. So.
Yeah, do you feel like your ride is different listening to music, or
yes?
Do you prefer the silence? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it just depends on what mood I'm in at the time. Sometimes I just turn it off and I like the silence. Sometimes I want to rock out and play some freaking heavy metal that the wife doesn't like,
You can always tell the person that's rocking out when they're going down the road and
bobbing and everything for sure.
How about you, Scarp? What's your best and worst?
So my bike's a little older, right? I got the Victory, and the Victory doesn't have like your modern amenities on it, I guess. So I think one of the best things, it looks dumb as shit, and I'm thinking about a way to change it on my bike. But I have that CarPlay Ride touchscreen, like that gives me the Apple CarPlay interface, like from a safety perspective. Because then I'm not fumbling around on my phone, and it's like super easy to mess with. So that's one really good thing. Theo, you're echoing pretty bad. Yeah. So that's probably one of my favorite accessories. The other one, like you said, Loki. I don't care how fucking dumb or old man I look. The cup holder, dude. Dude,
no
especially
brainer.
on the long hauls, bro. Having like a Red Bull in there, or freaking like a cup of coffee, or I pound a ton of water when we're riding. So.
Yep. I've got a cup that fits two monsters in it. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Theo, you're echoing really bad still. I don't know why. And I can't turn on the echo cancellation because it says this can't be changed while you're recording. I think the worst thing I ever put on my bike was when I had the Scout, and the Scout has a keychain, a key, and the key is down at the engine, right on the side. And I had this metal. Bye, Theo. I had this metal Indian like bottle opener keychain, and it was on my keys, and man, it was flapping up, and it took the paint off the whole bottom of the tank where it was smacking the bottom of the tank. So that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever. I mean, that's not a bike accessory. That's just my keys, but it's probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. We'll see if Hollywood's able to join us again here. He keeps falling off.
And he's echoing really bad again. Yeah.
Only when we talk. When you talk, it's fine.
Yeah, if you mute your microphone when we're talking, it won't be bad. Yeah. So Theo, that we're talking about, best accessory and worst accessory you've ever bought and put on the motorcycle. What's your favorite thing you ever put on your bike, and what's the dumbest thing you ever put on your bike?
My favorite thing I ever put on my bike is also the dumbest thing I've ever probably put on my bike, and that would be my seat.
Freaking coach seats.
It's my favorite because people are like, why? And I'm like, well, why not? But is it necessary? I actually accidentally left it on when we rode down to Georgia, and I was really regretful. But then I was like, then I rode it. I was like, oh, it's fine because it's really a drag specialty seat. It's just I got it covered with two purses. So, yeah.
I know a lot of people, like a big controversial thing in the motorcycle community is like, what's the best like phone mount? I mean, we all have our phones. We all want them charged when we get there. Like for me personally, I use Quad Lock, and the Quad Lock system has been amazing. I mean, from the wireless charger to, now I have the wireless charger on my desk that I use, and I just like the whole ecosystem is amazing. But I know a lot of guys like the RAM mounts, and there's Rock Lock that's out there. That's all new. What's your preferred uh, phone mounting system?
So I always wanted to get a Quad Lock, but they're like freaking $250. They're not cheap.
They're not that expensive.
When I was looking at all of the different pieces, because
Yeah,
now
Once you get the dampener and all that,
all
yeah.
the pieces plus what I want for my car, because then I can't use my regular mount for my car and all that stuff. It adds up. I just look at reviews on Amazon and figure out, okay, what are some quality mounts that people use.
So I've used the RAM mount with the X where it clamps on the side. I use that on my last bike. My current bike, I like the clean bar look to where I don't have anything on my bars, and I actually really like that look. So I just put my phone in the cubby and just let the music play, and I'll check the messages when I get wherever I'm getting.
Yeah, it's funny because the other day somebody came up to my bike, and I'm pretty nerd anyways. I'm a geek for sure. And with the big screen and then my phone mount right next to it, and they were like, "Bro, what the fuck is this command center you got going on, man?"
How about you, Loki? What do you use?
I know that I stopped using cheap crap because remember, Theo, when I had my Rocker C, I had a cheap phone mount that had I think it was like a rubber band thing that went around the corners.
Yeah.
And about 85 miles an hour, my phone went that way. And it was still playing when it hit the ground. It was still I pulled over, and then a semi went by and crushed it. I've got this one that I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's got a spider logo on it, and it's got 2 hooks on the top, 2 on the bottom, and then 1 each on each side. The thing is sturdy. It holds my stuff in place really well. And I actually put that on 2 of my bikes because I liked it so much. Yep. And it's got dampeners too, so it's pretty stable.
What do you think about the guys that put like the train horns on their motorcycle?
I mean, it makes sense. People can hear you a lot better, but if you have loud enough exhaust like fucking Scorps, everybody will hear you anyway.
You don't like the little meep meep that your motorcycle makes when you honk it? Meep meep.
I put dual motor horns on my Deluxe. Yeah.
So my wife has the train horn on her trike, but she also has Tab Zombie mufflers. So it's loud, but her train horn, she wants to, if there's an issue, she wants to make sure they hear it because, yeah, the little meh, meh is not good, right? Like all that, they could have done a better horn, right?
You need to replace it with one that does La Cucaracha and see if she likes that.
I gotta get one one of those the Ooga ones.
So I'm building that rat rod trike, and I'm gonna put like an old Model A or Model T horn on that one.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Some guys, like I saw one when we were in Sturgis going out to Wyoming for nationals a couple years ago. When we were in Sturgis, this dude had like a 6-stack train horn on his bike, and when he cranked that thing, it must have had a separate air compressor to run it. I'm not even lying, because when he cranked it, it was probably one of the loudest like motorcycle horns I had ever heard in my life, man.
Doesn't that get in the way of your like legs and shit?
Dude, I don't even know why he had it. I was like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on a motorcycle. But, to you is you, man. What about the big wheels? Like big wheel motorcycles, the giant wheels in the front, and how do you guys feel about those?
So I'll take this one. So I feel like they have a place if you're into bike shows. Like if you're doing a bike show, trailering it, they definitely have a place. But I kid you not, I think it was yesterday. Sunday. I saw this guy. He had a Street Glide. I want to say he had a 26-inch wheel, and he was riding with about 4 or 5 other bikes. They're making a left-hand turn, and this dude like made one of the widest left-hand turns I've ever seen on a bike. I'm like, yeah, that's gotta suck, dude. Like, because it is so big to where you can't just right. But
Yeah.
it's funny when I first when I first said I wanted to get a motorcycle and I was getting a motorcycle, some of my friends thought that's the route that I was gonna go. I was like, no, like no, sir, no.
What,
18.
what about the guys that have like the apes that are like way up here? Have you seen that one on YouTube with that dude who's on his bike and it's like it's basically
He's standing on the
a
bike,
monkey
and
park.
it's yeah.
I totally get apes and wanting to sit up here, but man, how could you ride like that? That would be so uncomfortable. And then
In my
leading
defense,
with
I've
that,
got 18-inch. I've got 18-inch ones on my deluxe.
Yeah, but
But
that's only like
That's
only
right here
like
for
here,
me,
bro.
so it's not a big deal, you know.
Yeah, it's not like your 40-inch apes on your bike.
Yeah. Now, when my ex-wife tried to ride it, she was like this. But
I think
definitely-
it's one of those. I don't know, man. To each their own on their motorcycle. Like I get it, but man, some people do some dumb fucking shit to their bikes, bro.
I guess if you don't ride very often, riding like this every once in a while isn't that big of a deal, but you're not going far.
And that dude had like the big chrome, like Nazi helmet style, freaking helmet too. And that it's just so funny to watch it because he's got his chick on the back and he's like, oh, it's too damn funny, man. What about lighting? Do you guys put lighting on your bikes, like LEDs, underbody lighting?
Underglow, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Freaking
lot-
Hollywood.
A lot of people say it's dumb, but I mean, it's not.
it makes
if
you
you're-
more visible.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're riding down a freeway, you're by yourself. Why not extra lighting, right? You know, I think it can be misused, like all the flashing, all the patterns, and all that. That's cool if you're just call it parking lot pimping. That's cool, but if you're just like solid white light underneath as you go down the street, why not? Everything turns red. You know, let's be honest. Like the biggest thing for motorcycle is to be seen, right? From a safety standpoint, like you want to make sure that you are seen because anybody in a car they can look right at you but not see you, right? Like that happens way too often, right?
Yep.
I'm just waiting for them to legalize lane splitting in Wisconsin. They already did it in Minnesota.
I think that's like I understand why people do it. Like I get why people do it. I just like for me personally, like if I'm ever in a state that does allow lane splitting, I don't know that I would. First of all, like all it takes is one asshole to open up their car door while you're coming down lane splitting and you're
Well,
fucking done.
There's lots of videos of people doing that just because they're pissed at people
Yeah.
lane splitting. Yeah.
I would probably do it, but only at like stoplights. So, because a lot of times, you know, people don't see you, they don't realize how close they are to you, and they end up hitting you from behind. So I would
mean,
probably do it at lights, but probably not on like the interstate.
I think almost what makes more sense to me instead of legalizing lane splitting is make a dedicated lane for motorcycles at an intersection.
Yeah, I mean the street's only so wide, but yes, that would good lane splitting, and I'm with Jake on it. Like I think lane splitting to the extent of if you're at a stop sign, stop light, you can tuck up between two cars. That way, you're not getting rear-ended for that guy that's like just kind of it's a stoplight. All right, I'm gonna look at my phone and just roll to it, and then just roll right into you, right? Because
Oh, so that lane on the side isn't for motorcycles?
The bicycle lane? Yeah.
Oh, that's a bicycle lane?
No, it's definitely the motorcycle lane, bro.
Though I have to admit that I have used it to pass cars that are turning left on a 2-lane road. So just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I think lane splitting has definitely been abused. Like you know, there's all the videos on YouTube, and I think you can do it respectfully. And I think there's a lot of videos of like the dudes that lane split, and then they're getting mad at everybody else when they're coming through there like a fucking asshole and then smashing on their car mirrors. Like, first of all, if you're that angry on a motorcycle, you should pull over and fucking calm the fuck down.
Well, and those are usually the guys going freaking 100 miles an hour that are doing the lane splitting and weaving in and out of traffic. I think that's abusing it, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely dudes on motorcycles that give the rest of us motorcyclists a bad rap, you know?
Yeah.
What can you do, though?
And if you're one of those that do that, we're not calling you out. Just might want to take a look at what you're doing.
That looked like
Don't
a
be
PSA
an
for a second there.
That
That's
was
why
awesome.
I looked right at the camera for once.
So before we wrap up here, I did want to say, that Theo, I heard you did something special and you did something with your wife. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. A couple weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, I was just thinking of CVMA as a whole, as coming into nationals, what it means, who we are, and whatnot. I jotted some lines down, and then I kind of put it out there. I put the lyrics into a what you call a song software, if you will, and it took those lyrics, kind of jumbled them around a little bit, and made an actual song out of it. It's called. I made a couple of them. It's called. It's the anthem of CVMA. We ride for the names, right? And basically, it just embodies who we are as CVMA, why we ride, what it does for us, and it's really a remembrance. I put it out there. I think I originally put it out there on TikTok, and oh no, I actually put it on YouTube, and I made a video of it, of kind of all the rides that I've ridden in the past. I'd say probably about 2 years, just little snippets of it, of stuff that we've done as an organization, not necessarily just my chapter. I want to say that there's at least footage from 4 or 5 different chapters throughout the state, just snippets of them riding, us doing. I think there was a patch-in ceremony that was in there. Us laying stones up at the high ground was in there, just to kind of really embody CVMA as a whole. And I put it on YouTube, just on my YouTube channel, just to put it, so I had a place for it. And then about a week or two later, I think one member found it and shared it, and it kind of spread like wildfire. So
Yeah, it's got 2,000 views now or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's insane. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
so we're going to actually link that. It's called Ride for the Names, and I'll put it up in the corner here so that everybody can watch it, and then I'll just add it into here when we do the edit for this, for sure. But yeah, if you haven't watched Ride for the Names, or if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check that out. Support our boy Theo and everything he's doing on YouTube.
I've made a few other ones that I haven't put out there yet, but yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll do some more, man. That one was really good.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for episode 2. We ask that everybody in the state, subscribes, likes, give us a shout out, make sure you put your comments on this. We want to hear what you guys have to say. Any suggestions for how we can improve this? Aside from it's a little long, because this is a podcast and I don't give a fuck how long it is.
Just saying.
Just saying. Ride safe, brothers. Keep your head up, and remember, we're in this together. Make sure you got each other's back, and thanks for coming out. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, Loki. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
No problem. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.